Good morning, everybody. Hopefully I got all my settings right here. It looks like it. All right. So let's wait for some people to get connected up. Looks like I am live. That's a good thing. And Twitch. I'm live. Hey, Jade. Hey, Retro. I am live indeed, and I'm sorry it's been so long, guys. It's been like a week and a half or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Hey, Chris, Dave. Happy 4th, guys. Indeed. Had a good time with the family last night with fireworks and stuff. Yeah, so ultimately just had to do some surprise traveling and stuff, and it was honestly a little bit of a crazy couple weeks, but here I am. Thanks, Quad, Neilk. I'm okay, guys. No worries. Grandmaster C. Good afternoon, fellow humans. Good morning for me. Thank you, Butcher. All right. So, thank you, Kirsten. I think Kirsten's probably watching us right now. So as far as the plan today, obviously, guys, I'm a little bit out of the mix here, so forgive me for that. But we definitely need to. Well, let me give you a quick update on what's going on, though. Vlansix has been hard at work on the new 3D engine for Big Box, and he's been through a bunch of iterations. We've been discussing things. He's doing an amazing job. But we're hoping to have something soon for that for you guys. What I mean by a new 3D engine is massive performance improvements for things like cover flow, as well as the ability to do more neat things 3D wise. Now, WPF provides a lot of that stuff already. The biggest issue, though, with WPF's 3D engine is that it's not that performant, as you guys know, because cover flow is the slowest aspect of Big Box right now, and it's because the 3D engine stuff is just not that performant in WPF. So we have tried a bunch of different things, primarily Vlansix, of course. Vlansix is doing all the work on that particular thing, trying different engines. And we're experimenting with different things. We don't want to break the theming engine as it is right now, which is a tricky thing to pull off. But, you know, he's doing an amazing job getting it done. So we're making good progress on that, and hopefully we can see something new there very soon. I need to work on stuff that isn't related to that, so I don't step on his toes. I'm thinking combining ROMs needs to use alternate titles is something I should get done. We have an issue with focus coming back from the options screen sometimes. A couple things like that. This is going to be fairly extensive, but it's something that I do need to get going. So I'm thinking I'll probably just start on that one. X68K core. Hi Jerry. Honestly I'm not quite sure what you're referring to there. Are you talking about RetroArch? Because we don't do RetroArch development. So anyways, combining ROMs. Actually, before we get into that, we need to pray. So let's go ahead and pray here real quick. Anybody got any prayer requests before I jump into prayer and get started on development? I have not actually tried to run Sharp x68000 games, Jerry. Although you should hit us up, hit the community up on the forums, and I'm sure you'll get some good help there. Jade, is that yes? You have a prayer request? Okay. Hey, Luke. I have a bunch of game notes and star ratings. What's the best way to merge that into the metadata? I assume you had them outside of LaunchBox. You can modify the XML manually, although I don't have a. I mean, that's going to be a complicated thing, so you're going to probably want to have a discussion about that on the forums. Hey Wade, yep, I'm all good. You can go back and watch the beginning of the stream. Just had some surprise traveling to do and some family stuff. Gotcha, Jade. All right. Well, let's pray. Lord, thank you for another stream, and thank you for getting me back home and helping me refocus here and getting back into development and just being able to enjoy what I do here. Thank you for this community, and thank you for the support and all the love that I get from everybody here. And pray that you can help us all to just enjoy each other's presence today, build each other up, and keep the trolls at bay, and help us all to just have an excellent stream, productive stream, fun time, all that stuff, Lord. We want to pray for Jade's cat. Pray that you would keep it healthy, so that the cat has a long life yet, and Jade doesn't have to worry about the cat not being healthy or anything along those lines. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. So, combining ROMs. Hey, win game. All right. So if we go into LaunchBox, let's make sure we're built with the latest stuff here. I need to catch up on how all this stuff works a little bit before we dive into the code, so I know where I'm coming from, because it's been a little while. So LaunchBox itself. Hi, Orochi. If we go to Tools, we have this Consolidate ROMs option. We need to go to an actual ROMs platform, though. Let's go to NES. Consolidate ROMs for a Nintendo Entertainment System. And that is going to basically just check the titles and consolidate them all together. We're not going to do that right now, but I just wanted to figure out where that was. And then, of course, we have manually combining ROMs as well. But we don't need to worry about that, because that's a manual thing. So I don't think we need to change anything there. Basically, we just need to work with this process right here to support the alternate titles, to make it a little bit better of a process there. So let's get started on that. We're going to go into the main form. Has aspirations of world domination. That's great. Pinky in the brain. Hey, that man. Thank you. It's good to be back. Okay, consolidate ROMs for current platform. Here is the beginnings of the process. Hey, Armand, what's your question? This is all just like working control stuff, prepping everything. Then we create our thread. We get our platform. This is on a platform by platform basis. We get all the emulators. We figure out if we're dealing with MAME. We create a new dictionary of games and original games. So these are the games we're going to populate, and these are the original games that are currently in the user's collection. The next thing we do is so we're populating them based on unique titles. We also have alternate titles now. So this is where things need to change already. Does the uncompressed zipped ROMs option in LaunchBox temporarily unzip them or permanently unzip them? Temporarily unzip them. It'll create temporary files in your LaunchBox folder. I think it's LaunchBox / temp or something like that. And from there, they'll get deleted every so often. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Hey, Jace. Cool. So, the titles. See, we have a different situation now because a single game can have multiple titles. And right now we're using a dictionary based on all the unique titles. And that isn't really going to work because, unfortunately, you're going to have more than one key for each game. So I need a solution for that. And that makes things tricky. Maybe I could use the same game object with different dictionary entries. That's what I need to figure out. Can I do that without messing things up? I can use the same game object in there multiple times in the dictionary object. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to be a good solution here. I guess we can try it. It's going to be easier than restructuring everything. And dictionaries are fast when you use them like that. Hey, Andy. Irini? So here we have all the games. But we need to check the alternate titles from the metadata. So the next thing I need to do is figure out how to get that metadata. And that comes from this localDB search result game alternate title. Some of these games are going to have, so we're going to have to search for these games. I need to figure that out. Check for getting changed under your nose in a concurrent situation. Sure, I'm not sure this process is really concurrent. Honestly, I don't think it is. But yeah, I hear that. Thank you, Rennie. It's definitely good to be back. I mean, I do use a separate thread, but just one right now. Although, I mean, it makes sense that we would want to make this concurrent at some point. Thank you, Riot. All right, so first things first is I've got to get the alternate titles. So search result game. It's the game search cache. So we use search, I guess, or either get game by ID or search, depending on what the whether the game has an ID on it already or not, ultimately. All right, so first off, this is in main form, actually. So we still keep that the way it is. And then we're going to go through again. Or actually, we don't need... Yeah, I do. I kind of want the actual titles on the game in there first. Not... Well, yeah, I do. And then we're going to go do it again. And we're going to check to see... So first off, if game... dot where's the ID? That's weird. ID LaunchBox, there it is. LaunchBox DB ID dot has value. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get, we need a search result game. So local DB search result game DB game equals null. Actually, we're going to simplify this. Equals game.launchbox dbid that has value. Then we're going to say local db dot get game by ID, and the ID is game.launchbox dbid dot value. Otherwise, we're going to say local db dot search and we're going to use the game.title. The platform we do know at this point. dbplatform.name. So what if dbplatform is null? Is that a possibility? Yeah, it is. DB platform. So let's just say dbplatform.name or game.platform. That's going to be null. Okay. Dot first or default dot Is that it? Yeah, well, but it's a search result versus a search result game. So how do I get the game from the search result? That's weird. I thought I could get the game from there. Catch up on comments here. How does LaunchBox determine working MAME games? There's a built-in database that does need updated, honestly. What image path is associated with pinball, handheld, and consoles? What image path is associated with pinball, handheld, and consoles? You mean the platform categories? I need you to explain that one, Dave. Oh, I see we're having some issues with the bot. That makes sense, Neil. When you select arcade or Sega Genesis, it returns a platform name, but consoles and handheld and pinball don't have a name for the platform category. Huh. I assume you're talking about in big box bindings, or are you talking about in a plugin? What's the exact parameter you're using? I mean, what's the exact code or whatever? Me too, Andre. All right, so we get our search result, but I need the search result game. And we construct the search result game. I don't know what I'm missing here, honestly. Local DB. This gives me a list of search result. We have game. So why wasn't that showing up? That's private. No, there it is. Okay, dot game. I don't know why I wasn't seeing that in my why is that not showing up? Because I think I get it. Is this is returning a list of search result, not local DB search result. Okay. dot cast of type local DB search result dot first or default, there it is, dot game. All right, finally we have our DB game or null. And then if DB game is not equal to null, okay, I see. Selected platform.name is going to be null in that because it's not a platform. There might be, I need to try selected platform category.name. But the selected platform category is going to be different than the selected platform. Hey, Neil. Alright, so now that we have our DB game, we can search through the alternate titles. So we're just going to, for each string title in dbgame.alternate titles. Oh, wait a second. This is not a string. We have, oh yeah, we have region, we have title. Just region and title looks like on the game. So, we just need to add those titles. We have region information too. That kind of throws a wrench in things, because that region information might be useful, although I'm not sure it is really. Now we're having issues with periods, huh? I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to get in there and mess with those settings right now, unfortunately. Anyway, we can request tutorials from ETA Prime. I need some help with AHK because Big Box doesn't have keyboard automation yet. AutoHotkey, sure. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I can hit him up about that, or he does. He does read the comments, so feel free to comment on the videos. But also, I'll try and bring that up to him soon. AutoHotkey would be a good thing to do for the tutorials. Absolutely. Agreed. However, AutoHotkey can be extremely complicated. So, I mean, it's like a scripting engine. So, there's certainly, you can't cover all of AutoHotkey in one, 10-minute tutorial. But maybe he can go over something related to that as far as keyboard automation. Just want to make a script to have a 2-button combo to exit game emulator. Yeah, I get that. And the tricky thing there is you will need a separate, different script for basically every single emulator, unfortunately, because every emulator is different. But yes, that's certainly very feasible to do with AutoHotkey. No, it's not auto it. It's strict AutoHotkey, Andre. Yeah. All right, so the issue I'm running into here is the fact that we have region information. The question is, does that matter? We're combining ROMs together, we're combining games together. Does it matter if, I mean, do we need the region information? We have the region information on the original games already. That should already be there. So I don't think that matters. So for right now, what I'm going to do is we're just simply going to, and we're not doing anything concurrent. We're not doing, if we do end up multi-threading this later on, we can worry about that. But for right now, we're just going to do the simple, if not games.contains key, game.title, games.add, no, not game.title. We need the title dot title, games.add, title.title, oh, and we have it's a list of games with that particular, oh sure, okay, all right, so hold on. Yeah, I need to rethink this. Because what we're doing is we have a title and a list of games that apply to that particular title, and we're creating our groups. We're creating the groups that we need to go through. Interesting. So what we need to do, well, let me go down to the code a little bit here. Okay, so if there's only one in the game set, we don't do anything. We do something special for MAME. And we start adding additional applications for the various games. I don't think I need to change this code. All I've got to do is restructure the groups using the alternate titles. So basically, we need to use the list of alternate titles to try and see if the game already exists, I think. We get our DB game. We still need that. The thing is, though, we have to loop through this stuff together in one go. Hey, Nash. Thank you. Thank you, CC. Good to hear. What is the issue here? That's weird. Oh, it's because of this, probably. Nightbot put me timeout. The Eon Nox theme is done. Nice. Had to use a fallback image for those 3 items since they do not return a name. So there is a way to do that, Dave, but we'll need to work through that. Nicholas, there was a thread on the forums about implementing some rocket launcher-like features like bezels, fades, etc. Would that be possible through a plugin or hard-coded into LaunchBox/BigBox? I believe yes, it should be possible to do some of that stuff via plugins. It's hard to say exactly. It's not something we're going to tackle here soon because of the nature of the difficult nature of implementing the rocket launcher features and the fact that rocket launcher does it well, and the fact that you have to do it separately for every single emulator and it's constantly changing, and it would distract from the rest of development tremendously. So that's come up a lot, but that's not planned for the immediate future. But it could be done in a plugin. So yes, absolutely. If somebody from the community wants to build that, that'd be awesome. Also, it'd be awesome if platform preview videos streamed either in lower res or if they were embedded YouTube. Yeah. We've thought about that. YouTube would not be a fan of us doing that, but we could do something of that nature. And streaming is feasible, although the bandwidth requirements would be much higher for that. So I'm not, do I offer discounted premium for students? We don't, actually. That's not something we've ever done. However, we do giveaways often, and we do a discount on Black Friday every year, although I realize it's a ways off. But that's where we're at. Hey, Vissy, we're working on the Consolidate Games feature with the alternate titles. It's so much easier to use Rocket Launcher. We just let you mark a platform be treated as a different platform. I hear that. Making an arcade machine table featuring LaunchBox, but on a budget can't afford a big box. I hear that. Yeah. Just remember that you really only need the $20 license. The $50 license is great if you want updates forever, but you can always upgrade later. So don't feel like you need to go straight out and buy the $50 license. Sure. I hear that, Nicholas. All right, so anyways, let's go back into this. And the issue is I do need to restructure all this, and I need to combine it together. But we need to figure out, we need to only add the game once. And that's tricky because every single item needs to have a list of alternate titles, and we need to compare them all together. So we are going to have to do things a little bit differently here. For streaming, you could download the videos from EMU Movies on selected game. Yeah, I could, although I'm pretty sure that EMU Movies wouldn't really appreciate that. Although we do stream. Okay, so on the previews, when you preview all the platform videos, we do stream them. So yes, they are streamable. They're always streamable, but we have to be concerned with bandwidth issues. We can't be wasting server bandwidth, and we also can't be wasting end user bandwidth, especially these days with all the bandwidth caps and everything going on. So I'm not so fond of that idea, just because of the extra bandwidth required, and also it's going to be a major performance hindrance as well. What are everyone's thoughts on plugins implementing Rocket Launcher features being premium or even a donation Patreon basis? It's because of the constant maintenance they would require. Scott is a plugin developer, by the way, guys. So I see where he's going with this. And by the way, I've shared in the past that I have no problem with someone choosing to charge for a LaunchBox plugin. So I'm fine with that. And I've always believed that people should be compensated for their work. So, especially for something like a Rocket Launcher plugin, or not a Rocket Launcher plugin, but like stuff for bezels and stuff like that. It's going to be emulator specific and constantly need to be updated all the time and stuff like that. I think that's a good mix. FYI, no, the LaunchBox team has never been against Rocket Launcher. I have always appreciated Rocket Launcher. I have always respected everything they do, and I think they do an awesome job. Brad has shared some negative views in the past, and I apologize for that. I've never been in agreement with Brad on that stuff. And to be completely honest, guys, I'm opening a can of worms here, but we just recently let Brad go because of his, and one of the reasons why is because of his extreme viewpoints that we can't always stand behind. So that killed me, because Brad is a very good friend of mine and I love him very much. Honestly, I do. Anyways, but no, we have never been against Rocket Launcher. I very much appreciate everything they do, and I can't have drama going around between software projects in the community because of unfortunate things that were said, you know. The video does not exist in a local library. You could download it, not stream it. eMovies is constantly adding videos, so it's easy to miss videos. Sure, that's a good point. So we could download stuff in the background if it happens to be missing. I like that idea, Andre. That's great. Yes, we do. We do still love Brad. Me too. Yeah, Scott has already proven himself. Built some amazing, amazing plugins. He really has. Especially the one that adds games to the games database quickly and easily. That's an incredible plugin, and that's huge. So, yeah, and Brad is an awesome guy, and you know he's been a great friend of mine for a very long time now. Brad had been with us since the very beginning, and he's just bent over backwards for us so many times, and I was really sorry, you know, to see him go, but yeah. Hyper Sentinel, retro-based game, made in the UK. Featured game of your project. Ah, okay. Hey, Slash Guns. All right, so we gotta get back into the development here, and this is tricky. This is very tricky. We are gonna have to use something other than the dictionary, and the reason for that is because we need every single game needs to have the list of alternate titles. I don't know. We kind of need we need a separate step process, a two-step process instead of a one-step, but we need to restructure the way it works. So if we get a list of all the unique titles, including alternate titles, yeah, I don't know. This is more tricky than I expected it to be honest, but we'll get through it here. We've got lots of time left, so. War against emus? I don't even know how to say emus. Is it possible that a catch if the image upload takes forever? Been using your plugin, but sometimes my artwork fails to upload to the Games DB and LaunchBox is frozen. So if we stick with the dictionary, we still have to store all the alternate titles on the various games somehow or other. And we need a way to... So if I create another dictionary to deal with all the alternate titles. Or we create a dictionary game and then list out the alternate titles as a separate thing. That's probably a better way to do it. So if I say var game titles equals new dictionary of game string, no, list of string. Let's go ahead and get rid of this because that's not relevant. Hey Ali, we're working on combining ROMs, the ROM consolidation process, using the alternate titles. I'm glad to see Scott's getting some positive feedback on that. That's awesome. All right, so we have game titles now. So as we go through all of our games, the first thing we need to do before we get to this process, I feel like yeah, so first things first, I'm going to go through and come up with a list of, or we're going to populate this right here. Cool, Scott. Sweet cherry blue switches sound. Hey, Pure Luck. CC, yeah, I've already seen ROM Center. I know how it works, and we actually have all that data. Well, we don't have all of that data, but we do and we don't. We have similar data to that already. That's part of the audit process. Nothing like the smell of coding. All right, so we're going to go through, and in this one, we need to get the DB game. And the first thing we're going to do is actually, we're going to say game titles dot add game new list of string, and then game titles game dot add game dot title, and then we're going to add all the alternate titles. Cool, Scott. All right, so we have our DB game. The next thing we need to do is for each var title in dbgame.alternate titles, if game titles game that contains title, title.title actually. If not, then game titles game dot add title dot title. Now DB game might be null though, so if DB game is not equal to null, and then what we have we have a dictionary of games and all of their titles at that point. Under game titles, and then what we can do is for each var game, instead of going in original games, we're going to go in, it probably doesn't matter, but that's fine, game titles.keys. And from here, this is where we're going to build our actual games list. This is going to go away. Hey Willem, we're working on consolidating games using alternate titles. So we're making the alternate titles, we're making consolidating games more accurate based on the new alternate title stuff. All right, so should probably zoom in here a little bit, guys, so you can read the code better. Sorry for that. So var game and game titles.key. So we're looping through all the games, and we now have all the titles for all the games and all their titles. Now we need to combine them together, and that's tricky. We need to do it without causing issues as far as incorrect matches. And I don't know how common that's going to be. We almost still need a dictionary of all the titles. And I'm honestly not sure if this was the best approach. This is really tricky, actually. All right, so kind of still need a dictionary of all the titles that we found. And if I use the dictionary based on and with the title as the key, we need to just point it all to the same object, maybe. We've kind of got like a many-to-many relationship here, which is really, really tricky. And I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. So each game so we're going to use lists of games. I have an idea. So we have games here. Based on titles and the actual games. We need a unique list of games. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to try and add another one in here. Var see, this shouldn't be. I'm going to change games to be a list of a list of game. And then this is going to be something else. And I'm going to say I'm going to change game titles to be a new dictionary of string list of game. Like that. Then we go through the original games, and instead of doing this, if game titles dot contains key game dot title, then game titles dot games, no, game titles dot add, no, game titles game dot title dot add to the list this game. Do we add it to multiple lists though? I mean, if it's already in there, then we know what list to add it to, and we only add it to one. Else, and actually what I'm going to do is, instead of doing a big else, we're going to do continue before each. So we're only going to add the game to one. The next thing we need to do is go through all the alternate titles. So we get our DB game. If it's not null, we go through each title, and then if game titles dot contains key title dot title, then game titles title dot title dot add game. And at that point, we're going to break, and bool found equals false. I'm going to say found equals true. Okay. And then if found, I'm going to continue this for loop. So then after we're done with the alternate titles, you know what though? We still have to add. Wow, this is tricky. Oh my goodness. I'm failing at this, guys. Holy crap. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. So each game definitely needs a list of titles. And then we have to figure out how to combine them all together. Check which ones are the same and which ones are different and all that stuff. And that's where I'm having trouble. Goodness. Do alternate titles show up in metadata XML? They do indeed, Scott, yes. Yeah, that's not going to work. Again, here we go. Actually, you know what I should do? I should just revert to what I had before because I'm changing my mind on this. It's not really working. So except I'm having to go back way farther. It's okay. Game titles, instead of a list, string game, string comparer, current culture, ignore case. For each file game and original games, game titles dot add game dot title. If not, game titles dot contains key. What I'm thinking isn't in there, Dave. That's why I can't just Control Z my way out. Game titles dot contains key. Game dot title. Game titles dot add. Game dot title game. All right. Then we get our DB game and we add all the alternate titles as well. For each var title and DB game dot alternate titles, if DB game is not equal to null, or if DB game equals null, continue. Title and DB game dot alternate titles. If not, game titles dot contains key. Game dot title. No, title dot title. Then game titles dot add title dot title game. So now we have a dictionary of all of the titles, which is, we absolutely have to have that. The titles and the games. Now we don't know what games are unique, but we have a list of all the titles, and I don't think there's any way of getting through that. But what I need now is a way to loop through that whole thing and figure out where the games are the same. So we're going to have to loop through. Yeah. And combine them together. Is there a way LaunchBox, BigBox can scrape Metacritic for user critic scores to populate ratings? That would be awesome. And that is definitely something that's on our to-do list. Although, honestly, that should probably go on the next poll or something like that. I like that idea. And it's been on our bit bucket for a long time, but we haven't done that as of yet. Are alternative titles similar to clones in MAME? Yes, they are similar, although it's more extensive than that. Because it obviously it doesn't just apply to MAME. So we have our full dictionary of game titles. We need to find all the unique games and the unique titles. So what if we've populated all the unique titles, what about all the unique games? We already have all the unique games in original games, but we don't have the titles referenced in there. But if we have, we kind of need both, I'm thinking, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's the issue. We need both a list of all, a dictionary of all the titles and a dictionary of all the games that reference the titles. Maybe that's what we need. And then we can compare them together. Hey, OPAC. Hey, Matic. No, you can still update your MAME set. It's not going to have trouble doing that, Nicholas. Um, oh yeah, I'll get through it, CC. It's just taking me a while. This is a pretty tricky one to pull off. What version of MAME good game list is currently implemented? To be honest, I don't exactly know. I don't remember. It's relatively recent, but it's not the most up to date. Hey, Camel. Welcome back, man. It's good to see you. That always sucks. You didn't miss much, actually. I haven't been streaming for the last week and a half. Hey, BRB. Camel, I just had some surprise traveling to do family-wise, ultimately. So, that's what it boiled down to. But everything's fine. We're all good. Alright. So, for completion's sake, so I can think through this properly, I'm going to add another object. I kind of need title games and game titles. Except I kind of want to switch them back and forth. But thank you, Scott. Have a good one. Guys, we're working on the consolidating ROM process to include the alternate titles. How is it displayed in the metadata XML? First off, Andre, make sure that you download the latest metadata XML from the games database, because the one that comes with LaunchBox right now, at least the official version, does not include that information. So make sure that you update that stuff. You can just do a search on a single game and it'll prompt you to update. Take it easy, Dave. JSON in a theme using image source binding, background image path instead of... Well, it shows the background image in platforms. It won't show the background image in the view platform categories. Can't this be implemented to show the background image using the image? Select the platform, background image path. Background transition selector. Sure. The reason why is you would have to use selected platform category. Background image path matic, I believe. And yes, that could possibly be changed. They'll probably not right this instant because I'm trying to get this alternate title stuff going. Okay, so ultimately we want to switch this up, and I need to do a quick search from replace on game titles to become title games, because that makes more sense. And we have to switch this around as well. And then we need to go through for each bar game in original games. And we have to populate game titles, which is based on, so basically, first off, we need game titles dot add game new list of string. And this is code that we already had, but I can't get it back, so oh well. This will be quick. We need to add game titles game.add game.title. And actually we should do a if not string.isNull or empty game.title. Then we do that. But also we'll go ahead and do that as well. Okay. And then we need this stuff as well right here. Excuse me. Okay. Then we need to add if not game titles game that contains title.title, then game titles game dot add title.title. And actually I'm going to go ahead and do that's not going to be null, do a trim on that as well. Actually, no, this is coming from the database, so that's never going to be necessary. We're fine there. Cool, Matic. On a scale from 1 to 10, what are the chances you add a new payment method to the store? You know, by the way, OPAC, I haven't responded to you yet, but I'm going to respond positively on the forums. I did see your message. FYI on that. But yes, I know I need new payment methods. It's a pain in the butt. But I'm hoping, the thing is, I definitely want to do it. It's just it distracts from LaunchBox development to do something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yes, that's the latest beta, Andre. Do the changes to the main database inside LaunchBox happen? Not for a while, BRB. I'm not sure how long you've been away, but I don't think so. Standalone emulator RetroArch Core. I generally recommend that people who are new getting into emulation use standalone emulators. However, I do use RetroArch for the majority of my personal emulation because it simplifies things for me. Although it was frustrating learning RetroArch to begin with. So okay, so now we have both ways. We have title games and we have game titles. And now we need to populate games. Now games needs to change to be just basically groups. Just a collection of groups. We have to use these two dictionaries to come up with the groups of games. I'm going to change games to be a list of a list of game. Now, hopefully, I'm thinking decently here. So we start off with for each var game in game titles.keys. So we're looping through every single game right now. That's strange. Any way you can merge the Daphne platform category? There shouldn't be a Daphne platform category. You mean Daphne platform with the Daphne Arcade playlist? You know, yeah, that's tricky. There's not that many Daphne games though, so hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult. What I would do if you have a Daphne platform, I would make sure that everything in the playlist is in your Daphne platform, and then delete the playlist. So we're going through every single game, and we have to come up with the unique list. We also have to figure out if a game has been added or processed yet. Can't find any game with an alternate title in the XML. There probably isn't that many. But anyways, it should be row alternate name, row region. So you're looking for alternate name is what you're looking at. The name of the table is going to be... And you can hear my kids singing downstairs. Where is it? Okay, so the table is called game alternate name. So if you search for game alternate name in that file, you'll find it. So how do we go through and mark that a game has been done? We're going to need probably a list to specify that the game has been processed, which we can do. That's not a big deal. So that's a non-issue. But what I need to do is figure out the combinations. So first off, sure, Andre. We need to find the group that matters and see if it exists. If we get to the end, then we're going to basically add, we're populating the games list. So games.add new, oh, we need a new list. So var list equals new list of game, and list.add game, and games.add list. But that's only if it's not found anywhere else. The next thing we need to do is come up with the list that needs to go with. Well, before we hit that, we need to see if there's a list in there that already contains what we need. Game Chaser's intro would be an awesome startup video, absolutely. XPatter is definitely a good solution, yeah. Although I've never used XPatter with RetroArch, but I guess that makes sense. var game and game titles.keys. Oh man, this is like, why am I having so much trouble with this today, guys? This is like, I don't know. anyways, ultimately, we need to go through all the alternate titles for that game and see if they're elsewhere. So first off, we get all the titles from game titles, which is a list. So var titles equals game titles game. And that gets all the titles for that game. Then, once we have all the titles for that game, take it easy, Nicholas. Use your Jedi powers. I'm trying. Game titles game. Our titles equals game titles game. So now that we have the titles, we have to check to see if there's any other games with those titles. So for each, maybe we can use link. So now that we used game titles, we need to go in title games and find all of them. We need to get a list of other games. Equals title games dot where. No, we need title games dot keys, right? Actually, yeah, that's fine. Title games dot keys dot where. Title dot equals, oh no, here we go. So game titles, we need a case insensitive contains. Not quite sure what to do about that, but well, you know what? There is a way to do that. I think that's new in the latest version of .NET. That's awesome. Okay, titles.contains this title. String comparer dot current culture ignore case, or ordinal ignore case. Excellent. Okay, so titles.contains title. And title games title is not equal to the current game. Dot select title games, select title games title. Okay. So now I have a list of other games that apply to that particular game. And I think that works. I think. And then if we add these to a list that specifies we don't need to go through them again, then we're okay. So we're only going to build the list once. And every time we're going to build a new list. So we create our list, we add the current game to the list, and then we're going to list.add, what is it? What's the add range? Other games. Okay, so then we have a list that represents that. The only thing we need to do next is anything that we previously processed, we don't want to process again. So that's relatively easy. We're almost there, guys. I think we're almost there. Thank goodness. So I'm going to say var processed games equals new list of game. And what I can do next is first thing we're going to do is processed games.add game. And then we're also, once we do this stuff, and I can wait on this, we can put this down a little farther. I'll do it right here. Process games.add game, and then processed games.add other games, add range. And then at the very beginning of the loop, if processed games.contains game, then we're going to continue, and we're not going to do anything further for that particular game. We add to the list, and now we have, in theory, we have a list of combined games. Now what's this issue here? Possible multiple enumeration of IEnumerable. So up over here, I'm going to say .toList to handle that. All right. Now we use game titles and we use title games. So we did need both of those. I'm sure there's a way to clean this up. That's the thing. But I'm first off, I just want to make it work. We don't need this block right here. And we don't need this block right here. Now what we're doing here, this is the actual processing where we actually merge the games together and all that stuff. We have game set. Okay, so what I need to do instead is for each var game set in games, we're going to get rid of this. This is a list. If gameset.count is only 1, then there's no games to combine and we continue. Otherwise, we process the particular games in that set. That's it, guys. That's it, in theory. Now, testing this is going to be a bear, but I think that will do it. Finally. Almost 2 hours in, but I think we have something that's going to work here. So let me build this, and we'll do some interesting testing. Any news on simplifying and making smaller the LaunchBox promo transition video as a startup video? That's a great idea. I'm not sure if that's come up before. Maybe it did and I forgot. Yeah, that would be cool. I think when we revamp the startup videos, which is on the list from the poll, we'll probably we'll add options that make that more feasible. So we'll probably do something. We could do something along those lines. But anybody could take that. Anybody could take that startup video and edit it. And if you need the actual video file, just let me know. Otherwise, you can just download it off of YouTube. Thank you, Ali. Okay, so we are built. The next thing is, though, I don't want to mess with my collection for testing. So I'm going to need to create a copy of it. And also, a lot of the stuff in my collection has already been consolidated. Anyways, let's go ahead. I'm going to go and we're going to make a copy of my LaunchBox collection here. Jason and the Merry Men. Hey, Jaggerol. Right, so here's a bare bones new setup of LaunchBox with my data but no images. So you're not going to see any images or anything like that, but that doesn't matter for this, for testing this. The question is, do I have stuff that needs consolidated? And I'm not sure. So I need to find a platform that might. Out of curiosity, the thing is, no, I don't. I just don't have one because they're all basically already imported using no duplicates. So yeah, I'm gonna have to re-import using a using no intro or something in order to test this right. So maybe I should start with a new installation. Let's go ahead and do that. It's going to delete my data folder. Eva, I'm streaming. Okay, I can't help you right now. Okay, well, Mommy's going to have to help you instead. All right, so let's go ahead and give it a start. And we are brand new with nothing in it. So what do I have that I can import here? Thing is, I'm gonna need, what do I have anything I can use is the question. This, I think, will work. Yeah, all right, this will work. There's not a lot of dupes in here, but there are some. There's 1,812 games. This is NES. So we'll go ahead and do an import, and I'm going to uncheck the box so that I don't merge them. So we're Nintendo Entertainment System. And we'll add a new emulator. Nestopia is fine, doesn't matter. And actually, I don't even have Nestopia in here. But it really doesn't matter at all, because I'm not going to be using this. I'm just going to grab a random exe. And we are going to use the files in their current location. I am going to go ahead and search for data, but I'm not going to download anything, so that this is fairly quick. We're not going to do EV movies. I want to uncheck combine ROMs with matching titles into a single game. And then we'll go ahead and finish. Okay, and we'll wait for this to finish here. Okay, there's 1812 games. All right, and we have games to merge. So now we can test this out. Before I do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and exit, and I'm going to make a copy of the data folder so that I can go back to what it was before in case I need to try again, and I won't have to re-import. So I'm going to click on NES. I'm going to go to Tools, Consolidate ROMs for Nintendo Entertainment System. Meeting over streaming is still going. Looks like you figured out your alternate titles. I'm testing it right now, Dave. Yep. Okay, so we're going to consolidate. Hold on, guys. All right. Process will consolidate all of your Nintendo Entertainment System ROMs and combine them into single games based on their names. Additional applications will be created on the games for each individual ROM. This process is permanent. It's recommended to create a backup of your collection before proceeding. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, I'm sure. Consolidating ROMs. Now, I'm not sure what the performance of this is going to be compared to what it was before. But we'll see. That wasn't too bad, but it didn't consolidate anything. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to need to walk through that process again. It didn't do anything, supposedly. So let's go ahead and just attach to the process. It's possible. Well, it should have consolidated some things. It didn't consolidate anything. It doesn't make any sense. So we'll see here. Or should I put my breakpoint? Let's just start it right here for now. And we'll try that again. Oh, it did. Here's the thing. Okay, 1800 of 1800. So it did consolidate 12 games into each other, supposedly, but it reported it incorrectly. That's a good thing. But it should have, you would think it should have consolidated more than that, but I know there weren't that many duplicates. So I'm going to go ahead and exit, though, and then we'll go back into my folder here, and I'm going to revert to my previous data folder, and we'll copy that guy, and the only thing is we can't check for specific things because not every alternate title is going to be in the LaunchBox Games database right now. So we gotta, expect that not everything is going to be merged until we get all the alternate titles populated. So, hey Phobos. All right, so we got our data back. I'm gonna go ahead and load it up. Oh, I started up the wrong one, didn't I? This is my actual collection. Oh, that alternate title is in the LaunchBox Games database. Okay. Gotcha. All right, so need to run this guy. And I don't know what's going on with my daughter right now. Screaming up here in the bathroom. We're looking to consolidate. We have 1812. We're going to go ahead and consolidate ROMs for Nintendo Entertainment System. It takes a little while to load up the metadata here, which is what it's doing because it's the first time. So that's the delay. And it's recommended to create a backup of your collection. Yeah, sure you want to continue. Yes. And give me a second, guys. So we are going to continue. Oh, I wanted to put a breakpoint in, though. So we have the breakpoint, but first of all, I need to attach to LaunchBox so we can walk through this. Now we'll continue. Okay, and we're in our breakpoint. I want to see, we'll let it go through this process, and I want to see where it gets to this first off. No, wait a minute. No, that's not where I want it. I want it down here, and this is where I want my breakpoint, really. I want to see where it gets to. Yeah, we'll go ahead and run it, and so it lands there. So it's populating all the lists. If it doesn't hit that breakpoint, then I know something's wrong. Yeah, this doesn't look promising. There it is. All right, so it hits the breakpoint. We have 2 in this list. So game set 0 dot title and game set 1 dot title. Okay, so this is one that has the same title. The other thing I want to check is game titles has 1812 in it, like it should. And game titles is the one that has the root of game. Title games, that's weird. Why does title games only have 1800? Because that would mean we literally don't have any alternate titles. Interesting. Title games should have a lot more than 1800. So I need to walk through this process because that's not right at all. Actually, well, okay, so here's the thing. It's going to consolidate some down because some of the titles are not unique. So that's normal for it to get less, but it seems like it's never finding any DB games with the alternate titles. So we need to put a breakpoint there, and we need to restart this process. I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and we'll go ahead and start this whole thing over again here. We'll go ahead and get rid of the data folder again, and copy this one again and rename it data. Okay, and give it a start, and then we'll connect back up to it. Yeah, we're working on alternate titles for consolidating games for the moment, Phobos. Okay, we're going to consolidate ROMs for Nintendo Entertainment System. Sure you want to continue. Do I have my breakpoint in there correctly? Yes, I do. We are attached. All right. Yes. Go ahead and continue past that. So here, we do get to the point where it finds a DB game, but most often alternate titles are going to be blank. Do we ever find any alternate titles? And should we? We don't. All right, so what that means is it's not finding a single alternate title for NES, which isn't right. It can't be right. But let's check on that. Let's see what I got here. We go into our metadata. Game alternate name, I think, is what I'm looking for. Come on, Sublime, you can do it. Okay, so we have game alternate names in here. There is game alternate names in here. And there should be some for NES, although it's going to be hard to tell what's NES. Uh, Contra, the European version, is called Probotector. Hey, Elite. Yeah, it's good to be back, man. Probotector. Wow, I can't believe how slow this search is. I guess it is a big file. So is it Super Probotector Alien Rebels? Database ID is 122. Probotector. Database ID 1258. So let's search for 1258. No, that's not what I need. Come on, I need a game that's 1258. Okay, so here is Contra, yes. So we have alternate titles for Contra. So the question is, why is it not picking it up? Obviously, Contra is in the list. Why isn't LaunchBox? I don't know, maybe it's... Yeah, it's probably stuck on a breakpoint. There it is. Okay, and obviously if I go find Contra... Should just search for Contra. Yeah, there's no alternate titles on here. So it didn't combine Contra and Probo. Oh, Probotector wasn't even in the list, though, apparently. Well, crap. Yeah, that game isn't in my ROM list. So you know what? I'm sure part of it is that my ROM list doesn't have a lot of those duplicates, although it does have some, I've noticed. But apparently it's already filtered down. Well, dang. So I need a better ROM set. But it's also telling me wrong. It did merge 1812 down to 1800. And it told me that... So I got to look at the count. How's it doing that? How's it reporting the final count here? The thread. Show info. Successfully consolidated. Original games.count to games.count. But games.count should be correct. So that's interesting. Huh. Well, let's do some more breakpoints, I guess. Let's try this again. Here we go. Okay. Give it a run. It's attached to it. Check Zelda instead. That's a good idea. Can you just create a copy of Contra and rename it to the alternate name just for testing? You're right, I can. Good point, Foxy. I'll do that. Let me fix the count thing first, and then we'll go back and do that. That would have been smart. I'm kind of an idiot. All right. So first off, we're going to consolidate again. We'll wait till we hit our breakpoint. You feel like a programmer. Good. All right, so games has 1812 in it, which means, in theory, that it didn't merge anything, which means this isn't working right. Why does games have 1812 in it? There's 1812 groups. All right, so games.where g.count is greater than 1. Dot count. $12. Okay, so there are some with multiple ones in there, but why are there still 1812 in the sets? So it is finding duplicates, it is combining them together, but somehow or other it still ends up with 1812. So something is not working properly to skip games. Let's see what it actually did recognize as merged. I don't know if that's going to give me anything useful or not. Yeah, that's not useful. So that's not either. Dot select. Oh. What's a list of game? Sure. G0 dot title plus G1 dot title. All right, so here is the list of what it found to be duplicates. And yeah, they're just ultimately the same title games, and that's it. But that might be my data set. So we need to do a specific test. However, we still do have an issue. It should be coming up with 1800 instead of 1812, and I'm not sure why it's doing that. Although so when we merge these together, this should be being skipped, and I'm not sure it is. So that's kind of what I need to test next. So let's do that. Here we go again. Here we are. We got 1812 games. Consolidate. Put a breakpoint on there so we know when we get there. If it hadn't already. Maybe it did. Oh, I didn't start it. Yes. So process games is 0 right now, of course. Let's go ahead and run it. Wow. Okay. So now in games, there's 1812. Process games is 1824. It is adding them. But apparently this contains is not working. That's weird. So it should be using references. There's no reason why that shouldn't work. But clearly it's not for some reason. Okay, well, I'm not sure why that's not working, but we can use the game's ID instead. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Welcome, Phoenix. It would be nice if the dialogue told you what games are merged. I agree. Would help with debugging too. Yeah, but that's going to be a major undertaking. So I want to at least get this working here first. So, well, I know what I kind of need to change, I guess. I don't understand why this is an issue. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I know how to get past it. So process game IDs equals new list of string. And then all I got to do is if process games.contains game.id, or process game IDs, process game IDs, game.id, other games.select, g.id. Let's see if that works. So we're going to put a breakpoint here. I'm going to put a breakpoint here. And a breakpoint here. We'll go ahead. I got to exit out of this. I'm going to do a rebuild. Yeah, we would need a grid and all that stuff, Phil, because it's going to be a big, it could be a lot of information. So that's not going to be an easy thing to, or quick thing. It's not difficult to build it, but it's not going to be quick. All right, so anyways, the next thing I need to do is grab my new LaunchBox binaries, grab metadata and the binaries and paste them into here. Then we got to revert our data again. Then we gotta go ahead and start it up and attach to it. Oops. So we should be good. We can do the process, consolidate. Yes. And we'll watch it here. Oh, I'm going to dump my laptop off my desk. That's not good. Awesome to hear, Phoenix. Thank you. 8 terabyte build. That's a big deal, man. Okay, so we're at our first breakpoint. The next thing is, do we ever continue? Obviously, process game IDs is 0 right now for the count. It still never hits it. What on earth is going on here? This doesn't make sense. We still get 1824. What the heck, man? That's legit. Why is it never finding... I'm really weirded out by the fact that it's not finding any existing game IDs. It's really strange. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter that it has... Well, it does, though. I've got to get this right. This isn't going to fly. Hey, Nathan. PF Sense. I'm not sure what that is. This is really strange, though. Okay, so process game IDs... It makes sense that it would go through wow, I'm really weirded out. So obviously, I mean, is it adding it wrong? I don't get it. Obviously, it is adding the extra games to the process game IDs because the count on it is 1824 instead of 1812. What if I'm tired of doing this process over and over and over again, but I kind of have to. I've got to get this figured out. Doesn't make sense. If I get rid of this, then I'm going to know what values are the dupes or the other games. So that's a start, I guess. I've got to get rid of this. But it's not building to the same spot, so we're okay there. Gotta go grab the new binaries again. and go into here, paste them over. We're going to get rid of the data folder, copy this guy out. Okay, get that done. And start it up. Attach. Yes. Took 3 days to download all the info for the SNES ROM set. Well, certainly shouldn't take that long. But I guess it definitely depends on your internet connection. The thing is, it's going to take a long time to download stuff if your internet is slow. 3 days is not right, though. But it will take a significant amount of time to download everything. Unless you have a separate source of artwork, there's not really an alternate solution. You can download stuff from FTP from Emu Movies, but there's not really a good workaround. You got to get the data somehow, you know. Well, 100 down should be enough to get you stuff a lot faster than 3 days. That's not good. Are you downloading from Emu Movies and the games database? Hey, RC. Okay, we'll go ahead and let this run. Now, process game IDs has only 12 in it, and that's what it should have. So I'm going to go ahead and search for process game IDs. We're going to get the list. So this is the list of all the supposed duplicates. Now, we're going to go game titles.keys.where G processed game IDs.contains G.id. Come on, guy. Wow, it's having issues with that, isn't it? Seems like we got some kind of weird bug or something strange. It's not even able to do that for me. What the heck, man? Huh. I wonder if we're hitting some kind of weird .NET bug or something, because this is not normal. Okay. Are you going to come back to me, Visual Studio? No. Look at this. You gotta love it when your development tools just lock up. Well, lovely. Oh, there it is. All right. So it did find 12 games, supposedly. But it's not, though. That's the weird thing. It's not. Which doesn't make any sense. Something strange in the neighborhood indeed. I'm weirded out by this. Come on, we got about 20 minutes left. I got to get this resolved. Doesn't make sense. What's going on here? Visual Studio doesn't like to deal with duplicates. Why? Why? This is like rudimentary stuff. It just doesn't make sense. Turning it off and turning it on again. Yeah. I guess, though, I mean, it's gonna... It's not that important to not have it in the list because it's going to filter out anything that isn't more than one anyways. So we just have the count to deal with at the end. But I'm going to need a way to process that. So, I mean, I guess I can deal with this. It's just, it doesn't make any sense why this is happening. I can't figure that out, and it's driving me nuts. But if we get rid of this, in theory, we don't need to... One thing I'm thinking about, though, is it's going to... Yeah, I kind of need that. I think it still doesn't make sense to me. And I need that to function. Process game IDs contains... It could be some kind of weird threading issue for all I know, but it's all happening in the same thread. So it doesn't make sense. I have to be missing something. Is it the order of things? Guys, I'm stuck. This isn't making sense at all. It's just a simple list, and contains is not working on the list. Why the heck would contains not work on a simple list? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I have my list of, what is it? My immediate window. I have my list of supposed duplicates. Okay, so we'll do that and put a breakpoint on it. So this one is going to be in the list at some point. It should be in the list. I guess that might determine whether we just have some kind of weird ordering issue or something. I don't know. I'm so lost right now. I'm going to put that back in. Here we go again. Yeah, Camel, pretty much. The watch window process game ID that contains. I could, although I don't know how that's really going to help me much. I mean, it's the same diff, but yeah. All right. Yes, I want to continue. I don't know if it's gotten there yet, but I'm going to put a breakpoint there. Okay, it's finally there. Put a breakpoint here as well. It found it. It's already found it. Process game IDs is 409. So it's finding the specific string value without a problem of the duplicate. However, this is not getting hit. So all I can figure is it's just the order in which things are going. So I think maybe the issue is that other games were not filtering for games that have already been processed, perhaps. Huh. It still doesn't make sense. But this contains seems to be working. At least it does in this case. Weird. Oh, you know what it is? Oh my goodness. Well, all right, so game titles is unique. Or is it? No, it's unique on game, not on the title. It's a dictionary of all the games and their various titles. But in this case, every title is always the same. But it still should be going through every single game. Goodness sakes, that doesn't make any sense. In theory, I should be restricting other games to skip anything that has already been processed, though. But I'm still not following exactly what's going on. It doesn't really make sense. Title game's title is not equal to game, and title game's title dot ID and not process game IDs dot contains title game's title dot ID. So that's an added thing that's going to help restrict it down, but I still don't get why that should be necessary for the current situation. Take it easy, BRB. You'll figure it out when there's 5 minutes left. Well, I mean, we're going to, yeah. There already is 5 minutes left. Here we go. I'm going to get rid of this crap. We're going to rebuild. We'll see what happens with this. I'm streaming. Okay. We're built. Grab the binaries. Fix the data folder. Start it up. Attach. Okay, so we have a breakpoint on this. Should keep that breakpoint there, although I'm not sure it's going to get hit. I just need to look at the counts. The counts are still going to be wrong, though. I know it. It's just... Here we go. Consolidate. Yes. See what happens. Here we go. That was quick. 1812. That's a good sign. Now, games still has 1812 in it. So that's still not quite right. And it never hit this. I mean, it's a step forward, but that doesn't really help me any. The thing is, it still should be, it's still combining games. It's just the count that's incorrect. I still don't understand why this is happening, though. Wow, it didn't combine anything, though. You see that? Great. So now I just made it worse. Alright, guys. Tell you what. I need to take a break and come back to this because this is just screwing me up completely. I don't understand what the heck is going on. I'm so lost. So that figures. But it's been a good stream regardless, guys. Did make good progress. I'm just going to have to take a look at this in a little bit and figure out what on earth is going on because it doesn't make any sense to me. I got rid of... It was this contains here. Yeah, I'll come back to this. I'm going to take a break, get some lunch, and come back to it, and I'll probably sit down, look at the code, and go, oh, you know. Oh, that was you. That was your son. No, I thought you were just saying you were frustrated, Camel. It's funny. Yep, take it easy, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but I'll get it working. It just figures. But have a good one, folks, and I'll see you guys on Monday.